Hello and welcome to the 13th episode of my podcast. Well, uh, this is kind of a unique podcast. Here, instead of discussing an entire book, I would like to discuss several quotes from a book called Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I wanted to read his work since 2023, and I just finished his first book this year, Fooled by Randomness. He is also an author of several other books: Black Swan, Bed of Procrustes, Skin in the Game, and Anti-Fragile. So, it's a quite interesting book, although I didn't understand every part of the book, and I have some contradictory ideas to some aspects of the book. Here are some few quotes that I found quite interesting to discuss about. Quotes on randomness and luck. Mild success can be explainable by skills and labor, while success is attributable to variance. Means small achievements often results from hard work and skill, but extreme successes like becoming a billionaire or a famous celebrity usually requires a significant element of luck or randomness. Reality is far more vicious than Russian roulette. First, it delivers the fatal bullet rather infrequently. Second, it does not let you know when it delivers it. Unlike Russian roulette, where you clearly understand the odds, life risks are often hidden. A bad decision may not lead to immediate failure, creating an illusion of safety until disaster strikes. We favor the visible, the embedded, the personal, the narrated, and the tangible. We scorn the abstract. What does that mean? Means humans prefer concrete stories over abstract statistical truths. This bias makes us underestimate randomness and overestimate causality in events. Hard work will get you a professorship or a BMW. You need to be lucky for a Ferrari. While a person's skills can lead to reasonable success, extreme wealth and fame often requires a significant element of luck. Many billionaires attribute their wealth to hard work, but many equally hardworking people remain unnoticed. If we have heard of a person, then he is necessarily the winner. And if he is the winner, then some very lucky fool must have won the lottery. So, what does that mean here? Survivorship bias makes us focus only on the visible winners and ignore the countless others who failed. Just because someone succeeded doesn't mean they were the most skilled. They might have just been lucky. It's possible. A mistake is not something to be determined after the fact, but in the light of the information until that point. People judge decision based on outcomes, but a good decision can still lead to failure due to randomness. Similarly, a bad decision can succeed purely by luck. The next section is about quotes on human biases and decision making. Heroes are heroes because they are heroic in behavior, not because they won or lost. A person's character is determined by their actions, not the outcome. Some people succeed despite bad decisions, while others fail despite doing everything right. Past events will always look less random than they were. It is called the hindsight bias. Once we know the outcome of an event, we believe it was predictable all along, even though it wasn't at that time. This leads to overconfidence in our ability to forecast the future. Our minds are not quite designed to understand how the world works, but rather to get out of trouble rapidly and have progeny. Human evolution prioritizes survival over rational decision making. Our brains are wired for quick emotional responses, not deep probabilistic thinking. We are blind to probabilities. We do not realize the whole role of luck in life and instead assign causal explanations to random events. Humans are wired to see patterns even where none exist. We create stories to explain outcomes even when luck played the biggest role. No matter how sophisticated our choices, how good we are at dominating the odds, randomness will have the last word. Even the smarter person cannot eliminate randomness. Some things are simply outside our control, and luck will always influence outcomes. Our brain is not cut out for probability thinking, it is instinctive, not statistical. People make decisions based on emotions, stories, and personal experience rather than logical probability. This is why gambling, superstition, and financial speculation often lead to irrational behavior. The next section is about quotes on markets and investing. The market has no memory and does not keep track of how, how well one has done before. Just because someone has made money in the past doesn't mean they will continue to do so. Each market decision is independent of past performance. If one puts an infinite number of monkeys in front of strongly built typewriters and lets them clap away, there is a certainty that one of them will come out with the exact version of Iliad. Iliad is a novel by Homer, if you are unaware of it. Well, given enough randomness, some rare events will happen by pure choice. This explains why some traders appear genius when they might have just been lucky. Survival cannot be substitute for statistical knowledge. Just because someone has survived risky decisions doesn't mean they were smart. They just might be lucky. Relying on past survival without understanding probability is dangerous. The wise man listens to the meaning, the fool only gets the noise. In financial markets and life, most information is just noise, short term randomness. The key is to filter out what truly matters. It is much easier to scam people by offering them hope than by depriving them of it. Many investment schemes, self help gurus, and financial advisors exploit people's need for certainty by selling false promises, knowing that hope is more persuasive than truth. Lucky fools do not bear the slightest suspicion that they might be lucky fools. By definition, they do not know that they belong to such category. Many successful people believe they earned their skill purely through skills, not realizing that randomness played a significant role. This leads to arrogance and overconfidence. The next section is about quotes on life and uncertainty. I am the opposite end of moderate, but I want to be as immoderate as the occasion warrants and no more. Author believes in adapting one's behavior to circumstances. Be cautious when necessary, but bold when the situation justifies it. People who look too closely to randomness burn out their emotions will be drained by the series of pangs they experience. Obsessing over short term fluctuation in life or markets can be exhausting. It's better to focus on long term trends rather than daily randomness. The fooled by randomness problem is chronic in our daily life, not just in our investments. We often mistake luck for skill in everyday situation, whether in careers, politics, or relationships, leading to false conclusion about cause and effect. Mediocrism is where randomness is mild. Extremism is where randomness is wild. In former, life follows predictable pattern, for example, height and weight. In latter, a single event can cause massive impact, wealth, financial markets, for example. Many people mistakenly assume they live in a mediocrism when in reality, life is often ruled by extremism. Losers are those who let the randomness of events disturb their peace of mind. The world is unpredictable. Worrying about every uncertain event leads to stress and emotional instability. Instead, it's better to embrace uncertainty and focus on what can be controlled. The best way to measure a person's resilience is not by how they succeed, but how they handle the failure. True strength is in adapting to losses and randomness rather than trying to avoid them altogether. Those who learn from setbacks become anti fragile, while those who panic break under the pressure. So, these are the few interesting quotes that I selected from Fooled by Randomness. So, the main key takeaways from Talab's work here is randomness rules more of life than we think. Luck is often mistaken for skill, especially in financial markets. Hindsight bias makes us believe past events were predictable. True wisdom is in recognizing uncertainty and adapting accordingly. What do you think? Does this fit with your own experience? Maybe. Anyways, thank you for listening.